I don't know what it is that make us feel like men are the prize and we should chase them, we should serve them, we should labor for them, we should give our body to them. That's not right. Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. This is Tlangi, and in today's video, really, this is something out of my comfort zone. I don't really like sharing this kind of stuff because I just feel like I used to feel like there's no need. I mean, what's the point in me just talking about what I've went through, my personal traumas and so many things like that? Who is it going to help and the likes like that? Today I'm making this video because I've just been noticing some weird trend going on about our men, and I'm going to say our men because at the end of the day we need to be practical and we need to be realistic. These are the men that surround us, these are our brothers, these are our uncles. Sometimes it's people that we know, and funny thing is, most times if it's people that we know, we tend to joke about it, or we just say, oh, uncle so, you know, last December he brought this lady, this December he brought this lady, he just can't commit, and we take it lightly. But when it's happening in our relationship, all of a sudden, you know, it's problematic and we don't know what to do, we don't know who to talk to, can't even go to anyone because no one is just going to help you about it. And ladies, I really need to talk about this today, and there's so many things that I need to stress because I just keep seeing that we keep falling to the trap that men set, and most times we lose ourselves, we lose who we are, we lose our morals, we lose our values, all in the name of I just want to be in a relationship, or I just want someone to love me. And I understand that sometimes it could be stemming deep from how we grew up, and I think that this has been spoken about so many times that women marry their fathers or who their father failed to be, but in essence it links back to how your father treated your mother, or how your father treated you as a kid, or how the male figures or father figures in your life treated you, or how you saw them behave in relationships. And this is more sad because we're living in a society where misogyny is the agenda of each and every day, where women are made to feel like your role is to give birth, have sex, submit to a man, and nothing else. Whatever a man says, you must do. And I was just sitting down and asking myself, if you could sit down, you'll probably come with a lot of strong women, a list of strong women that you know, and look at their journey. Those that you thought to be strong and now are no longer strong. Look at what happened. Look at what happened. Look at what brought them down. More often than not, a man is a common denominator. And I'm not saying this to be bashing or to instigate any funny agendas. I'm really talking about this because I'm concerned. So basing this on what I've went through, I've been in a relationship for a very long time. Well, the person is now an ex, and just talking about it really I don't feel comfortable talking about it. But the funny thing is, I kept saying that I will do this kind of a video, and I kept putting it off because I was like, okay, maybe it's not the right time to do it. Today I woke up and I did my makeup thinking that I'm just going to have a young photo shoot for my beauty page on Instagram, and that will be it. So usually what I do is there's a guy I watch, he's a motivational coach, he's a life coach, and the likes. His name is Tony Gaskin. Some of you might know him. If you don't, check him out and see his kind of content. And I understand that at the end of the day, people have preferences. Some might not like him. Well, for me, I like him because I connected to his message. I found it to be sincere, I found it to be genuine, and 10 out of 10 the things that he mentioned in his videos were the things that I saw in my relationship. So it was basically having a mirror reflected back to me in terms of what I did, my mistakes, and so many things. So looking back right now, I look back and I was like, I wish there wasn't relationship stigma in black families. I wish there wasn't stigma around sex in black families, and I wish there wasn't stigma about so many things, because I remember when I started my periods, I think I was doing grade 7. And okay, sorry, this might be TMI, but I'm just trying to relate this to the point that I'm trying to make. That day I was going to school ready, and as I was waiting for transport, I quickly went to the toilet to pee before we head out to school. And then I saw blood on my panties, and that's when I was like, what is going on? So I started screaming, and I'm like, Mom, what's going on? I have blood on my panties, and so many things like that. And my mom just briefly explained what was going on, and would you believe me if I tell you that she had to call my aunt, my uncle's wife, is the one who talked to me about it and explained that, okay, now that this is happening, this means this, you're now a woman, and A, B, C, D, E, F, G, if you have sex you'll fall pregnant and stuff like that. And it just ended there. There wasn't a, oh, you must use contraceptives, or use a condom, or don't have sex, or don't feel pressure to have sex, a conversation that I would have appreciated, because now you just navigated through everything by yourself. And now that you're a whole 28-year-old, I'm turning 29 this year, you're just trying to go back and fix the damage because you were a curious cat and you just wanted to figure things out. You hear people talking about this, you want to do it, you want to experience it, you want to experiment, and then you get hooked, and then you realize, I shouldn't have opened that door. It brought me nothing but a can of worms. So linking this to relationships, if our parents really sat us down and told us how relationships work, and be honest about what they are going through in their marriages, or be honest about what they went through when they were dating, I think there could be a lot that we could learn, especially as young girls. And if you're an older woman watching this, I hope that you will do better with your children. I don't want to start crying, but I'm really tearing up because I'm just thinking of I'm just thinking of all that I went through, and trying to navigate relationships on your own, and also having the pressure from society. You're thinking that if you do this, you're cool, you look cool, and stuff like that. And there is so much that I regret, and I wish I could really turn back the hands of time. And there is so much that I wish my parents sat me down and taught me. But then again, what's done, it's done, I think it's water under the bridge. Even if it wasn't, it has to be water under the bridge, because that's the only way that we can move on and heal and start getting better. Fast forward to a few years later, when you are now no longer that girl, you are now no longer that strong-willed person. You've compromised so many of your values, of your morals. You've sold yourself to the devil. You've given yourself away because society told you that you must please him. You must do A, B, C, D, E, F, G so that he doesn't leave. And as a sign of showing that you are good enough and you are wife material. And there's a video I watched this other time, and Tony was, okay, other than Tony, other genuine men that speak the truth have mentioned this, that isn't it interesting that when we're growing up, our parents would literally force us to do house chores, and if you didn't do them, you were in serious trouble. And they were arguing that clearly, well, back then our parents would say that, no, it's for your own good, you need to learn how to do this, those that were covering up. But in essence, we were being taught so that we can be wife material, we can be good wife materials. Because if our brothers were not taught that and were let to do as they please, they didn't even do the garden, they came back whatever time they came in, and our parents were more concerned about us as women, I find that problematic, because that is what we carried. That's what I carried in all my relationships. You know, you want to cater to him, and he's not your bloody husband, you know. But because that's what girls talk about in society, that, oh no, if you don't do this to him, he'll leave you, he'll go to someone else and stuff like that. So fortunately, when I was with my ex, he was not like that. He was can I say, I don't want to use the word domesticated because I feel like it sounds off, but then he understood house chores. He mentioned that with him there were no such thing as girls do this, boys do that, so I didn't have to worry about that with him. And he really found it shocking, to my surprise, that I was doing all those things. And he was like, why would you do that? Like, why are you going above and beyond to do laundry, to do my laundry, to cook for me, to clean the house? Is that how it's supposed to be? You know? And in your head you even feel insulted, because you're like, oh, if he's saying this, it means he doesn't love me enough, so I'm going to do 3 times more, because I need to prove that no, I'm doing it because I love you, and I have to do it so that you understand that I'm serving you, you know, and things like that. And as much as people can be good people, human beings are human beings. This is the world that we're living into. We all have our own skeletons, we all have our own demons. And besides the good character, the other good characters that he had, and besides being there for me and doing a lot for me, and me mentioning this right now, I just remember that in essence this is something that kept me glued there and not moving and not going anywhere, because you're like, if I move, where is help going to come from? You know, if I don't do this, another woman will do it for me. There's just that stupid silly voice that just tells you, sometimes you know that he's cheating and you're like, oh well, as long as he comes back to me, it's fine. No, it's not fine. It's not fine, because it's hurting you. It's eating you up inside. You really don't mean what you're saying, but because now you've been hooked, there's now soul ties and other funny things and unfortunate circumstances, that even children, so you can't even get away. You can't even just pick up your bags and go. But what we have to do is just that, to pick up our bags, your belongings, your soul, your body, and go. Because someone can be a good person, have good morals and whatever the case might be, but have their own deep skeletons that just keep haunting them. And you're always looking at that good side, and this is what I did. I was always looking at, you know, the good man, the kind man, the generous man, well-spoken. You want to cling on to that. You're looking, I remember reading somewhere that women look for reasons to stay, whereas men look for reasons to leave. Trust me, you could be coughing and a man will be like, I don't like the way that you cough. I know, that's it, we're done, bye. I can't do this. I can't be with a woman who coughs like that. And you're like, but you've done worse that I tolerated and overlooked, you know. So sometimes we tend to hook ourselves to unnecessary things due to peer pressure, because you're lonely, you don't want to be alone. It feels good to have a man around. It feels good to have someone text you. And honestly, we are looking at these things because we're not doing much work on ourselves. If you're doing much work on yourself, really, we wouldn't even be entertaining unnecessary nonsense and rubbish. If you every weekend you have something to do, if during the week there's something you look forward to doing, if there are other people that you look forward to seeing, because sometimes we even neglect our friends when we're in relationships, we neglect our relatives. It's always about the man or it's always about the lady. If you could start working on your dreams again, remember what it felt like when you had that vision and you were so excited. You saw yourself as something bigger. The world was your oyster. You kept dreaming and you knew that nothing could stand in your way. If you could look at yourself and remember that your worth is not attributed to what a man call you or what a man make out of you. You know, just because you dated someone and then it didn't turn into marriage doesn't necessarily mean that you are not wife material. I mean, for goodness sake, why is it only women that have to be wife material? Why aren't men also being accountable as you're not husband material? I don't get this concept, and it breaks my heart because these men are the men that are going to have kids, and those kids are going to learn the same from their parents, and they're going to do the same thing, treat women the same way. It's an unending cycle, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it. The only way for this cycle to stop is if we as ladies remember our morals, remember our values, stop sleeping around. Don't give him sex if he's not your husband. And I repeat, don't give him sex if he's not your husband. Yes, sometimes and before I continue, I'm not bashing anyone. I'm not saying that what I'm saying is the last voice of reason. I'm just saying that for me, I wish that women could stop giving men sex who are not their husbands, because with men it doesn't matter. Society doesn't hold them at the same standards. If you slept with 50 women, it doesn't matter. Even if you just slept with one person, even if it was just one person, it will be a big story. It will be headlines. It will be drama, 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 drama. And this goes to show that if we as women were upholding our standards, if we as women were not being weak, if we as women were not getting into relationship because of the financial gain and other funny gains that are not spiritual and emotional, if we were staying to the course, and if we were consulting God with our relationships and asking for directions and asking for what needs to, excuse me, once in a while the spirit comes through when I speak the word and the spirit is like, yes, speak it, preach it, so that you also remember your own words that you're busy telling people. And it's easy to sit down and talk. It's easy to relieve things that happened in the past. As much as it's painful here and there and it still makes me sad, it's easier than doing it. It's easier than implementing the change. But there is no way forward unless we implement change. There is no way forward. Men are going to always feel like they're the prize, and I don't know when this happened. I don't know when this started. I don't know if it's because we are not holding men accountable. I don't know if it's because as women you tell yourself that as long as he's coming back to me, that I'm the main chick, that's fine. I don't know if it's because of that. I don't know if it's because we as women fight each other instead of fighting the man. I don't know if it's because, Jesus help me say it. I don't know if it's because we are busy entering into another woman's home, entertaining her man. Some will even tell you that I'm not the one who made the vow. So if the man is going to entertain me, I'm going to entertain him. Yet you know that he's married. I don't know if it's because we've lost ourselves and we've lost our self-worth, and we've somehow elevated the man and told ourselves that we're going to serve. I don't know if it's because of statistics that there's so many women out there compared to the ratio of men. I don't know what it is that make us feel like men are the prize and we should chase them, we should serve them, we should labor for them, we should give our body to them. That's not right. That's not right. And ladies, I really hope that you are going to break generational curses, break that cycle. If you're always complaining about men not treating you right, always complaining that you're always crying, always complaining that men don't see your value, then the common denominator is you. I'm sorry to say it. I'm sorry to say it. But the common denominator is you. For me, things changed, or I started seeing light when I realized that the common denominator was me. And I sought counseling because I was like, it can't be. Someone mistreats you and you know that you're being a stupid. I'm not saying that you're being that. I'm talking about me. when I was having my own reflections, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm being stupid. This is like, you come down and you think about it, and when you're telling your friends, when you're saying it out loud, you're like, and the minute he calls you, you're back there. And I'm also guilty of this. So I'm speaking about things that I know. I'm speaking about why it was so difficult for me to eventually move and de-attach, because for some reason you keep being stuck in that denial of, no, he just needs more time. No, he doesn't need more time. No, maybe I did something wrong. No, you didn't do anything wrong. There is no man who is the prize. I mean, if we're speaking about how it should be, no man is the prize. No man is the prize. We should stop doing wife actions or wife benefits, giving men wife benefits when you're just a mere girlfriend. Just because they showed you to his family, just because you spoke to his relatives or his brother. Even like men, if you've spoken to their brother, that doesn't count, because that's a fellow man. They behave the same way, talk the same way. Sometimes kid is stupid, all of them. So that doesn't count. You could have spoken to his mother, it still doesn't count. Because sometimes you find that your boyfriend is the one that helps out at home. So his mother is not going to say anything wrong. She's not going to say anything that will make him stop helping out at home. At the end of the day, it all comes back to you. Let us stop blaming men. We know how men are like. We know how they behave. We know what they're doing. We know their mind games. We know them very well. If you've forgotten, ask your friends the things you've told them about the men that you've been with. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Going back now and trying to fix all the damage. For me, I was lucky because at school we have a free counseling if you're a student. Now imagine if I didn't have that. I will still be doing the same thing, repeating the same mistakes, trying to prove that I'm good enough, I'm worthy, I'm wife material. If it frustrates you, if it costs you a piss, it's too expensive. And before I end this video, I need to say that God will not send you anything that will distract your peace. If it distracts your peace, it's from the devil. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, it's from there. If it distracts your peace, then that man is acting out of his ego. He's with you to satisfy his own benefits. He doesn't even care. Trust me, a man will do anything to get what he wants. And if he feels like he can get it from you, he's going to stay. I mean, he has no reason to leave you alone. Look at the patterns. Patterns never lie. I'm sure you've heard this so many times, but patterns never lie. That list, if you don't have a list, I would encourage you to write down the things that you want in a man. Things influenced by good character, things influenced by what God says, things influenced by what the word says, things influenced by happy relationships that you've seen work and that you can look up to. Not things influenced by society, not things influenced by Twitter, not things influenced by people who are not even married and they're telling you that sleep with him or whatever the case may be. Funny thing, when I was watching these videos in the hope of trying to understand why men behave the way that they do, the men who now have wives that they've been with for a long time, the common thing that they all have is their wives didn't sleep with them. Their wives didn't chase them. Their wives didn't labor. They didn't come to them with that thing of, oh, I'm your queen. Yes, my lord. They didn't do that. They knew who they were. They had goals. They had dreams. They were driven. They had aspirations, and they were not backing down. When a man came with their funny nonsense, they were not backing down. And those men appreciate that because that was different. It was different. It's something that a man has never seen, has never experienced, because he always has it easy. Ladies, I beg you. If your parents have already told you or your friends have already told you, please, at least listen to me. Yes, I'm a stranger, but better a stranger, because I'm not going to judge you. I'm speaking from what I've went through, and it didn't help. It didn't get me anywhere. Now you're sitting here trying to deal with the emotional baggage, the emotional pain, the emotional trauma. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Know your worth. Protect your peace. Protect your mind. Protect your body. Protect the cookie, and don't go get a very hard lock it and throw away the key. Let us not give men a satisfaction to gloat that they've slept with. I've slept with 50 women this month. Let us not give them a reason to boost their ego at our expense, at our body's expense, at our emotional expense. No, ladies, we can't. We can't do that. We can't do that. You are worthy. You are deserving. You are deserving. You know, that love that you dream about, not the love that you saw from other people. That love that you know you deserve. That love that you know that if you were to get, you'll be at peace. And that's how it should be. That's how it should be. Funny games, he's not your man. I don't know, I'm still trying to decide if he's not your man. Let's just take it slow, really, because I just have a lot going on. He's not your man. If there's an excuse for him to not man up, for him to not be accountable, for him to not be heading towards marriage and starting a family, I mean, if you're old enough, for him to not be faithful and loyal, if there's an excuse, he's not your man. You're not his lady, because a man will act right for his lady. He'll go above and beyond. Ask them. Those that you feel like have good relationships and you look up to, ask them. Ask the man what he did. Ask the lady what he did. And you realize that there was no mouse and cat games. There was no chess. There was no hide and seek and funny things. It was teamwork from the beginning. It was helping each other. It was egos aside. I compromise, you compromise. And not compromising on the key values. I mean, things that you can tell yourself that, okay, I can compromise that. It was built on trust. It was built on mutual goals and mutual dreams. I'm going to give you something that my counselor gave me, and it was called PIES. So PIES. So the P is for physical attraction, and you know how the body is built, how the man is built, and so forth. I is for his intelligence, you know, intellectual capacity. E is for emotional stability and emotional connection, and S is for spirituality. So those four need to work. Those four need to be in sync like this. If it's not, just go somewhere else. Sis, go somewhere else. If you're compromising, go somewhere else. If you know that you want a man that looks a certain way, then don't date a man who doesn't look like that, because it's also not fair. You know, you can't also just be with a man for the sake of being with a man. If you're thinking that, oh no, his intellectual capacity, it's not where I want it to be, but perhaps it will get, no, it needs to be right from the get-go. It needs to be physically, yes, intellectually, emotionally, tick, spiritually, tick, and don't compromise on that. So with that, ladies, come to the end of the video. I mean, there's nothing much I can say more or add, but I just hope that you've gotten the message that you are worthy, you are the prize. Don't chase any man, don't lose your standards, don't fall into the influence of friends, society. Stick to what you believe in, stick to what makes sense to you. Always seek guidance, wisdom, and direction from God with every relationship that you partake in, even if it's friendships, you know, so that you know that you're investing in something where you're going to get results and rewards, and you'll be treated well, treated better, treated with respect, as well as not have your peace be disturbed. Do take care, keep well, and stay blessed.